Hello, family and friends. It's the Chrome Dances, and here is our bean pot. We are making mini bean chili out of the Vegetarian Slow Cooker cookbook. And I always use a rubber band, kind of keep me where I'm going. Okay, now these beans had soaked overnight. I used a cup of black beans, a cup of red kidney beans, and a cup of pinto beans. It called for 3/4 cup. I did it my way. And then it said, and I put a little salt on it. Then I cooked it for 3 hours on high, and the beans are nice and tender. Now it says to drain this. I'm not doing that. When you open up canned chili beans, you have your chili broth in there. I'm not getting rid of my broth. Now you can do what you want to, but I'm keeping mine. Okay, and we're going to get started. So that's where we're at. Now, in this skillet here, I sauteed with about 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons, because there was quite a bit of olive oil, 2 onions diced up, 2 green peppers diced up into some bigger pieces. It was supposed to be 1 red, 1 green. Green was 99 cents, red was $1.88. So it's getting green. And 1 whole jalapeno pepper. Of course, you take out all the seeds in that. And then I put in about 2 tablespoons of the garlic that I got in a jar, and I fried it all up. Now, it didn't say to fry up the jalapeno in this recipe. It didn't say anything about the jalapeno in the directions. I cooked it up with everything else. It said to cook the green chilies from a can. It's like, I don't think so. So anyway, so there's all that. Jalapeno, 2 green peppers, 2 tablespoons of garlic, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and 2 onions. So now we're going to add that into our bean pot. Now later on, I'm going to make a meatloaf. And I make fairly good meatloaf. And I'm only going to do the video on the meatloaf, and that would fall into my own just plain home-style cooking. And there's really nothing special about it. For some reason, everybody loves my meatloaf over everybody else's. So it's like, okay, nothing special about it. It's very simple, but I'll show that, because I've got to divide up my hamburger, and I'm going to go ahead and do a meatloaf, put it up for tomorrow's dinner. And I like to get as much of this out of here, because I live on a very, you wouldn't believe it with all the shit I buy in auctions, but I get what I get very cheap. I live on a very little amount of money, and it's a wonder I do what I do, but I'm careful. I live in an area that I don't have to pay as high a rent, so I can have a few bucks to spend. And that, so otherwise that would never happen. So I'm going to add all that in there a little bit. Now we got our can of green chilies. I'm not draining it. I'm adding the whole flipping thing in there. Get all that yumness in there. They didn't say to drain it, but I'm not going to drain it. And my great big 28-ounce can of tomatoes that I got from Dollar Tree. We're going to add that in there. You're going to have a shitload of chili. Of course, you can freeze chili. Don't forget that. You can always freeze. Stir this all up a little bit here. Now I gotta get my book over here, because because I gotta see exactly how much of what they want, because I can't remember all that. Alright, it's supposed to be 3 tablespoons of fresh chopped cilantro that's added at the end. I didn't want to put out the money for cilantro when I have dehydrated cilantro that I grew in my garden. So I'm just going to take some of the cilantro and sprinkle it right on in there. And just kind of give what I think is equivalent to what they said. Okay. Cilantro. These are ways I save money. I'm not going to add any extra water because I've already got water in there. 1 bay leaf and 2 tablespoons of chili powder. Now I brought my bay leaf by bulk, so I just keep my can and keep refilling it so that I have a little can in the kitchen, you know, for cooking. I use bay leaf for a lot of other things. Of course, the biggest challenge is always getting the flipping the lid back on there once you take it off, and I'll diddle with that later. I'm not going to take the time. You do try and find and fish out your bay leaf, though, before you serve. Okay. 2 tablespoons of chili powder and 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. Okay. Now, I do have a tablespoon. You know what, I can't believe I was at Dollar Tree. Do you think that I would think to pick up a set of measuring spoons? No. No, my brain does not seem to function like that. I got one. I should have a whole set, but who knows where they went. You know, kids, grandkids get a hold of things and oh, that shit just disappears. Come on. Oh boy, I'm stuck. I was going to say, don't tell me I'm out. I am really close to being out, though, so it's probably something I should put on my list of what I need. In fact, I'm going to leave it out so I can do that. And what did I say? A teaspoon of oregano. Yep. And we're back to this kind. It works pretty good. Yeah, just throw that crap on in there. All in all, it's going to turn out yum. Okay. Now, we need a teaspoon of cumin. Now, I live on slightly over $700 a month. I know that's too much information and probably nobody's business. But I live modestly, with the exception of I did spend some money on my stones that I wanted. A couple rounds of that, but I got them all cheap and I didn't get big ones because I can't afford that. And I did get some jade jewelry that I wanted. And of course, you know, a lot of shit I buy is for my kids, my grandkids especially. But next year from now on, everybody's gotten the notice, and it's going to be strictly gift cards, you know, and I'm just going to mail them to them because I want to make things a little bit easier for Grandma from now on. I have a little bit more control over my spending because there are some things that I would love to have, and I don't, and I make use with other things. And that's the way it is. But I'm going to make some changes on that. It says 4 teaspoons of salt. I gotta refill my salt shaker, so this is my sea salt. But I'm not a huge salt person, so right now I'm gonna add about 1.5, and then later I'm gonna see where that goes, because I can always add more, but I can't take it out. So I don't want to sit here with a big bob of salty ass chili that I can't eat, because that seems to me like a lot of salt. So I will test it and I will adjust. I'm a big pepper fan, but I'm not a big salt person. I like some, but not too much, and that just seemed like an awful lot of salt. So sometimes you just have to use common sense, and you know they'd ask for no pepper, and it's like, do you think my pot of chili's not going to have any pepper in it? Oh no. And then it's supposed to have fresh parsley, but you know I have dried parsley. Yeah, I hate these little tabby things. When I can get them off, I usually pitch those. I don't like them because they're a time waster for me, and I only have so long that I'm able to stand on these legs. So it's not like I can stand here and play with this too much. See, I'm glad I saved my broth. Now see, that looks like chili. See there? If I would have drained all that broth off of there, it would have been more like water. And it's like, well, there's all your flavor. I mean, and there's like, no, I'm not getting rid of all that. No, you wash your beans before you put them in there. I always do. I wash my beans and I always wash my rice. But it's like, no, I'm not dumping that. When you open a can of chili, you've got chili broth in there. Look at that. No. That would have just been like freaking water with a little bit of tomato juice in it. I want chili. So sometimes you can't go by what the book says. You have to go by what you know. So, we got the chili. Peppers in there, the parsley. Yeah, I will have to check the salt and see how that fares out, if I think I need. And that's really about it. That's the recipe, guys. I mean, it's not that difficult. Of course, it seems easy because I had everything prepped. I would give this a taste, but I'm not going to go by this first taste because things have to marry. These flavors have to all marry in this pot, you know. Oh my gosh, it's good already. Now, it definitely is not going to need any more salt. I can tell you that right now. But what it is going to need yeah, you know, I'm probably the worst one to try and teach anybody to cook anything because it's like that. You see that? That's how it is. Okay? A pinch of this, a dab of that. Oh, it has a wonderful taste already, and I just put this together. Just think about what it's going to taste like. Now, it tells me, I'm telling you, that has a good flavor, and I think we're good right there. Now, I got it on high. I want to get done. I got other things to do. It's telling me to cook this thing on high for 4.5 hours. I'm going to come back here in an hour and I'm going to check it. It's probably going to be done. Vegetables are pretty much so cooked. I just want things to marry. Vegetables will get a little softer. Voila, we got chili. I'm going to have a bowl of chili with some crackers, which will give you a little more salt if you get the saltines. Because I eat those, sometimes it helps settle my stomach. And a little cheese. I got a little Mexican cheese I'm going to put on top of my bowl. And I'm going to call this good. Then, some of it can be frozen. You can have chili dogs. You can get like some of those buns, pull out the top, those hard rolls, make yourself a little chili bowl. There's all kinds of things you can do. You're not limited. Just use your imagination. You can have a baked potato and put chili over the top of the cheese. There's a meal. You can freeze this and you can do a lot with it. So at any rate, there's our chili. And that's basically it. So I don't think I'm going to show you this stuff because you can already see it. Chili is chili. But I got other videos to do with you guys. But when I get this done, I want to get it cooled down. I want to get it put away. And get this off of my stove because we got other things to do. Okay? Talk to you guys later. Hope you enjoy that chili.